everybody. Welcome back to another awesome episode of Spotlight on Amputee series. Looks like we got one in here right now. Backwoods, what's going on, brother? Good seeing you as always. Um, Last episode we had a lot of good times, man. It was really good times talking with doing our Q&A, that kind of thing. Tammy had a blast, so I know we everybody that came and took part. I really want to truly thank you guys because it shows the guests that that we all have fun here and that kind of stuff. So, um, but yeah, a couple things real quick. I wanted to just before we even get started is Miss MOL. She's doing great. The nausea has kind of been at bay a little bit. Everything's kind of starting to kind of level out with that a little bit. Heart rate is going good, blood pressure, that kind of stuff. So, we're super happy about all that. And baby seems to be doing good. She's kicking like crazy. We're still trying to decide, like, fully lock down a name. We have some ideas, but we're not just fully set on anything just yet. So we're still getting there. Give it time, and we'll do a name reveal and all that good stuff. Much like we did the gender reveal, that kind of thing. So we'll do that too. We'll have fun with it and make a whole group thing like we normally do on this channel. And yeah, so I like to do a lot of stuff as far as like bringing you guys along with me on the rides and the journeys that we do go on. So but I wanted to introduce you guys to somebody who I've been talking to a little bit and just said, hey, Jenny, how's it going? Good seeing you. Somebody that we've been talking, chatting back and forth a little bit. And, I was really curious and, had a lot of questions about the Amputee Coalition of America. And she's somebody who has worked with them a lot and done a lot of good stuff for them. And, like I said, when we got to talking more, I was like, man, there's so many questions that I have that, I would just like to bring you on and just have you come and hang out with us and just tell us what you do know and just more about yourself. So having said all that noise, I want to bring on my good friend, your new friend, Miss Kim Ousley.
Hello,
Kim,
everybody.
how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you tonight?
I'm fantastic. You doing all right?
I am. It was a beautiful day here in Indiana today. It actually warmed up.
Oh man, we hit like 56, 57, something like that. So I'll take it.
Hey, the 40s. It was in the 40s. It's been so cold here, but it was nice to have a day where I could throw off the coat and just walk out the door.
Right. Absolutely. I was just like, oh, t-shirts. I love it. Oh my God. I've missed you so much.
I get
So
it.
I was telling everybody a little bit about, most people that aren't amputees aren't going to know much about the Amputee Coalition of America, what it is, and what purpose it truly does serve to both you and I and folks like us. Um, but before we get into that, is there would you mind giving us a little bit of insight and a little bit of story on Miss Kim and tell us a little bit about how maybe you lost your limb and just a little bit about yourself? You're fine. You can put on glasses all you want.
Well, I actually see better without them when I'm doing distance.
Gotcha.
I'm at that age. I
Gotcha. No
am
worries.
Kim Ousley. I live here in East Central Indiana. Back in 2010, I developed a bump on the left side of my left foot, and it grew very quickly, but we didn't know what it was. It's kind of odd. The foot doctor sent me to, other specialists, everything. They did an MRI and they said, oh, but you have a mass wrapped around your ankle too. Mass did not click with me yet that it might be cancer until I saw a specialist down in Indianapolis and he said, you've got cancer and we're going to have to take your leg like yesterday because it's spreading very quickly up your leg.
Oh my.
And I'm thankful I brought one of my best friends with me because after I heard that, I zoned out for a few seconds and the room spun. But that cancer actually came back 4 more times over a 7-year period. And it's been 7 years of this 14 years that I've been cancer free. And I'm so excited to say that. And I'm trying to get my life back on track. And I was divorced single mom for many years, and I was really looking forward to the fact that my son's in college now, and now I'm working on my first career-oriented job and everything, and cancer hit. And I felt like it stole everything from me at that point. But you know what? God is good in so many ways. But for me, I feel like I have an opportunity to go a different direction with what I wanted to do with my life. And it's even better than the one I had thought I was going to do for the rest of my life. So I have a journalism background. I went back to school and got my degree when my son was young. And I am just now in the state of Indiana. Last year, I have a friend that's a travel writer, and she convinced me that, hey, you could do this too. And so I started a blog last year. It's called Out on a Limb.
Nice.
And it's about accessibility and travel for the state of Indiana. And I've been getting in touch with state parks and museums and small towns, and I'm building up a clientele so I can start doing it again in the spring in a couple months. But just going around and saying, you said this trail is accessible, let's check that out.
Yeah,
You said this area
absolutely.
is accessible. And I would try to explain to them that accessibility means diversity. So I feel like it's something in my life I've always wanted to do, is to have an excuse to travel and get to know our state better, and maybe
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I want to write a book called Accessible Indiana eventually, but right now I just want to enjoy the process of getting out.
Yeah, and there's a lot of trails there in Indiana too, like a
Yeah.
whole lot of trails. And I'm sure, a lot of stuff that's accessible for you and I.
Yeah,
Pretty much what I've learned, I apologize. What I learned is that if there's a bike trail, you and I could probably go down it. You
yeah,
know, like rough terrain, climbing up rocks and that kind of stuff, and like really having to get into it. It's a
mhm.
little rough. For you, it might fare a little bit easier because you're below knee, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. See, I'm above knee, so I'd have to like actually use my prosthetic knee, my mechanical knee to actually get up and propel my body up. So it'd be tough. It'd be real tough.
Well, and then you reach, and it's been 14 years, and I had to hop around on my good leg for 6 months, and then I blew out that knee on the good leg 4 years ago during COVID, and so it's never been the same. And eventually, I might have to have it replaced, but I do have arthritis in that knee now, so
Yeah.
I can do simple trails, but I don't do anything that's gonna I just can't do the whole climbing up and down and all the stairs at the state park. Some of the state parks, that's how
Oh
you get
no, it'd be
around. And
tough.
yeah, but
Yeah, it'd be very tough.
luckily the DNR started an actual page on their website that lists all the areas that are either trail accessible or canoe accessible, or different things like that. And I think it's great because last year Indiana started a campaign, including the DNR and the state itself. How can we become more accessible? So
Right.
I think that's awesome.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, because that can branch out to like other states and go
Mhm.
nationwide, and then eventually from there spawn even bigger.
Yeah.
So you're doing the right thing. Start small and just kind of just
Yeah.
expand and keep going out and keep going out. Because that's the key to success. Is just don't people dream too big. They want to, they want that big giant house and that big, fancy car and all. It's like, no, no, no. You gotta walk a long way before you can get there, my friend.
Yep.
Not
That's
saying
true.
that's what it's all about, but I'm just saying success. People
Yes.
they think it's going to come overnight. No, that's not the case.
Yeah.
Well, with dealing with that, with you, with losing your limb,
Mhm.
did did you have to deal with any kind of PTSD or anything like that, or any like
Yeah,
that
by
that
the fourth
still
out of
bother
fifth
you?
time, yeah, by the fourth out of fifth time that I was diagnosed that the cancer came back in a tumor form, and they're like, you got to do more. And I think I just hit a frustration that to no end, because I was like, I had gone through so many medical PTSD trauma things up even to that point, surgeries and almost dying from sepsis after the surgeries and all those different things, that I was just really frustrated. And I tried to find a counselor that would just be able to work with cancer patients or amputees and not just a regular counselor, because I needed somebody who understood what complex PTSD was. And I wasn't officially diagnosed until I saw one. I remember at IU Simon Cancer Center, I found that they had someone there, but the doctor didn't even know that they had that, which was ironic. I found it online. I did my own research. So I went, and my first appointment, the nurse takes me and I walk up to the lady's door, and she goes, "Stop right there." And I said, "Okay." And she said, "I just want to be the first person to apologize to you for what you've been through." And I was like, bawling my eyes out after that. And I went to see her for a while, and it really helped. It really did. Because, by the fourth and fifth time, my friends are like, "Oh, it's just like, having a small amount here or there." And I was like, cancer is cancer. It doesn't matter if it's a small amount, a large amount. When it keeps coming out of remission, you get really frustrated because you're like, I don't want to die. So I'm glad that I did that. And I've learned holistic ways and different ways to journal or meditate or I love nature. I have a state park in my town. So therefore I spend a lot of time there. And that's how I was able to heal, was to do that. Because sometimes we just don't feel like we want to burden other people, or maybe we feel alone in our journey. But when we connect with other amputees or other cancer survivors, it makes a difference that we can uplift each other.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's much what I'm trying to do here, and a lot of people that come here, that's what they'll tell you, is we're a very a tight knit little group, I mean, all these people you see in chat right here are like some of the best people ever, I mean, we all look out for each other, and that's more or less what I've been trying to build. Is I don't want a big mass of people that just come and hang out. These are people that actually come and get something from it, and if they learn something, cool. If not, then that's cool too, no big deal. But with what you were saying, it's much the same with my case. It's really, really hard to accept, hey, you're cancer free. Way to go, Kim. Awesome. You're like, I've heard that before, though. I mean, yeah, it's great. And I'm super, super stoked about it. But at the same time, it's hard to celebrate, because you're just like, well, for now I am, and it gives you that kind of negative. I mean, granted, we can't be like that. We have to look at it in a much more positive light. But it's still, man, it's hard to fight, So that's why I was asking about, does that still kind of bother you to this day?
Mental health is very important. And I think more and more bigger hospitals are realizing that with cancer patients and amputees. And I'm glad to see that there's more discussion about mental health and CPTSD or PTSD.
Yeah, 100%. There needs to be more discussed about it, really. There's not enough. I mean, yeah, you're right. It is starting to become more mainstream and more of an attractive topic now that people are starting to. And hey, if that's the case, then whatever. You're starting to see more of it, like on like TikTok and shorts and that kind of stuff. People are real big into talking about depression now and anxiety and that kind of stuff. I mean, granted, a lot of people are just kind of more or less getting attention, but I feel anyway. But if somebody's putting it out there, it's still a positive. It's still a win. So I'm just going to look at it like that.
Yeah.
Right on. Well, okay. Well, with dealing with that, with your, like after your hospital stay and that kind of stuff, was there any physical therapy involved? Anything like that? Did you have to do the like inpatient stuff where they make you, do all the raise your leg and kick your leg out, all that stuff?
The day after my surgery, I remember them coming in and going, "Okay, physical therapy's here." And then the first thing they did was get me out of the wheelchair, put me on the well, it was on the floor on a mat and go, now we're going to teach you how to get back up in the wheelchair. And I'm like, huh? Can't think backwards. They tried to make me hop backwards with a walker up a steps.
Yep.
My brain just couldn't do it. I tried. I just couldn't do it.
How do you do now? I mean, say well, if you had surgery or something and couldn't wear your leg and get around. For one, what's your main mode of transportation? Like, what's your...
I'm a left below the knee, so I can still drive, but I use a cane right now to help keep my balance, because back in October, I did have a kind of an awkward fall when I was walking out of a store and landed right on my wrist and fractured it. And I had to have a rod put in, and I still, that came out, but with all the cancer treatments, my bone density pretty much sucks at this point, because it takes it out of your bones. And so I'm getting older, and I'm postmenopausal now. So everything, I got to take extra this and that and other for bone density. And, I just have to be careful, but I get around pretty good. I just can't walk long distance like I used to, because before I blew out my knee, you wouldn't know I was an amputee. I was walking really good. I didn't use a cane, walker, anything. I was doing really good. But now I do have to use a cane when I leave the house, because I don't want to lose my balance. I think I'm a little gun shy after breaking my wrist. Yep. So I just take it with me.
Yeah, it goes along with mine and your the same thing we were talking about before with PTSD. It's just like, I know what that's like. I don't want to go through that again. It's that whole thing. So, and especially with a person that does have it and a person that does deal with it, that kind of stuff, taking second chances and big leaps and stuff, that's a bit tougher for you and I, so, or people that just deal with it in general. I love this comment right here. I'm an RBKA. we would kick ass at a 3-legged race. That's my friend Tammy. She was my co-host last week.
Yeah, I watched it. Yeah. Hi, Tammy.
Yeah, that's her right there. She's a nut. She's hilarious. I love her to death. Let's see her.
Hey, you got to have a sense of humor. I want to get the shirt that says "It cost me an arm and a leg, but I negotiated." We
were talking about that before, and another content creator, his he has one leg. He's completely disarticulated. Like, he doesn't even have, like, they didn't cut any bone. They literally took out the leg, like the limb, everything, same thing, cancer. But his says, look up just a little bit, or look up a little higher. My butt's way nicer.
I always decorate my leg every spring with, like, either lots of stickers or something really cutesy or whatever. And last year I was at a Midwest travel writers convention, and I got stickers from, like, all these Midwest states. So I put them all over my leg, and people will see that and make positive comments rather than just staring as they go by, and I just ignore it. It doesn't bother me anymore, and the kids are so sweet. You would be amazed at how many kids know somebody with a prosthetic or that lost a limb. It's amazing. I get that a lot too. Yeah, I get that a lot. I mean, I don't mind. It's the people that just sit there and stare and don't look at your face. So I said, I'm going to put a sign on the front of my socket this year that says, my eyes are up there with an arrow. Because
look at my eyes, boys. Come on.
Yeah, a little higher.
Yeah. Real quick. Backwoods, my brother, Jenny AR-15, good seeing you. Miss Christy Yant, how you doing, dear? Possum Smiles, always good seeing you. Jeff Bice, my brother. Let's see, scrolling down. Miss Blue Eyes, always pleasure seeing you. Miss Chanel, good seeing you, dear. Miss Tammy, always a pleasure seeing you. Thank you for coming and hanging out with us, all you guys. I really appreciate that. All right. Good deal, good deal. Now, I was really, really curious to know, and for my audience to know a little bit more about the Amputee Coalition of America. I've kind of explained a little bit, but not in too great a detail, about
Right.
what it is and exactly what they do for us and that kind of thing. Like, again, what purpose it does actually serve for us.
Yeah.
So
I
take it
I
away,
didn't
my
hear
friend.
about, yeah, I heard about them after I'd been in the in the hospital and I was doing chemo. I had my laptop and I ran across Facebook had a it said amputee coalition and it was a Facebook page. So I started just reading people's comments. Then I looked up the website and I was back then they don't have as didn't have as much as they do now, but they have really come a long way with social media and connecting people and amputees from all over. um, they have mentors. I'm trying to get a support group started here, but they you can look up support groups in your state. You can call and you can talk to someone on the phone if you need have questions or just need to talk. They do a lot of work helping people. There's a resource page with tons of resources and websites and phone numbers. You need a new leg, but you don't have insurance. There are places that you can apply to get money to, or a grant. You know, they have the
Mhm.
resources. Um, I studied to be a certified peer support mentor, and they're getting ready to do another class in March. So if you want to do that in your state, and even here in Indiana, we need more people to do that. Feel free to look up amputees-coalition.org, and you'll be able to sign up. It's free, and it's all like a two-day virtual thing in the evening. I did that 2 years ago. And then last November, I became a lead advocate for the state for the So Everybody Can Move law. But the Amputee Coalition, they do so much for a lot of people. And last year, I applied for a scholarship to go to the national conference in Atlanta, Georgia, and I won one of the scholarships. And I was
Nice.
so excited because there was no way I was going to afford it living on what I live on. But it was the best thing to walk in a hotel and see all these people that are amputees or limb difference. You know, there were 700 of us floating around that 22-story Hyatt Regency hotel,
That's
and
so awesome.
it was a wonderful, the best experience I've ever had. And they will do it again. They're not going to do it this year, but they're going to do it in January of next year, and it'll be somewhere warm, hopefully out west or something. But they had to put it on hold right now because as what's going on, and we won't go there. But I will say that they're doing everything they can to make sure they can still help people, and they're spreading the word about So Everybody Can Move. So I would love to share that information with your audience if you will allow me to.
Absolutely, absolutely. That's what I was thrilled to have you on to talk about just what we're doing here.
Yeah. So Everybody Can Move was started by a young lady who lost her limb when she was 10, and she's an athlete now. She has a running blade and everything. She's great. I heard her speak at the conference, which when I saw this going on, I was like, I want to be a part of this. You know, I know that amputees get denied certain types of prosthetics, saying, oh, it's not medically necessary, this, that, and the other. We know prosthetics are expensive. I've been denied certain things, but then I have a great prosthetist who will continue to fight for me to get what I need to a certain extent. But say you were an athlete or your child wants to be able to run. I mean, the prosthetic you wear to walk every day on smooth surfaces, you can't jog in it. You can't swim in it. You can't, do it. There's certain things that you're limited to, especially children
Right.
and adults. But a lot of people, how they go by the K1 through K4 level. If
Hmm.
that's familiar, I'm a K3, but I'll never be an athlete. So I'm right here. But if you're a K2 or a K1, they will deny you of something, because they're going by how you were before the amputation. Oh, you weren't that active beforehand, and you're like,
Yeah.
huh? What if I want to be active,
Yeah.
So we just need a better quality of life. So what they're doing is trying to pass a legislation in each state, all 50 states. They have passed it in a couple of a few states so far. Just in I think it was Washington State. It just got passed there, but it took 10 years to get that done. It could take a long time back then because they started it that long ago. But what they're trying to do is get insurance to say that they cannot deny anyone if they need more than one prosthetic to live a good quality of life, say a regular one and a swim leg, or a regular one and a running blade, or you have a child that wants a running blade, that because right now we have to pay for that stuff out of pocket. And a lot of
Absolutely.
us, yeah, and we have to rely on organizations that we apply for grants or whatever, and not everybody gets that. So that is
Or
what
you
they're
get a
trying to do.
used leg too. That's always an
Yes.
option. There's used. There's
Yes.
a pretty okay quality used market as well.
Yeah, and and there's a lot of those nonprofits going around too. I I was interested. I went and did the lead advocate, which basically I got, like, I have printed out everything in a book, but it's all about politics and how the state and federal level works, and how you can find out which representative. It does not involve who's Republican or Democrat or anything. We just want someone to author the bill. So
Yeah.
Indiana, we thought we had it the second time around last week. It never made it to where it needed because it missed the deadline by like 2 days or something. And if you miss a deadline, you got to do it all over again next year and get a new bill number. So
Yeah.
now that
Sorry.
I'm
Back
on
to the
there,
back of the line.
yes, we're back to line. But I know that they're wanting more people to take the lead advocate training, and in every state. I know only know of a couple of them here in Indiana. Seems like the Midwest, we're kind of behind the times. But basically, we want to get that bill established and passed. Now, it may take a while, but we're determined to make sure that happens. I've been watching some of the other places that have just got it passed in their state and how they did it, so that I can kind of prepare, because we get to tell our stories. We get to say
Yeah.
how, I would like to have I have a good foot and ankle, but what if I wanted to, have something even better, because I'm trying to be more active and I want to hike, or I want to ride a bicycle or whatever. I can't do that with my regular prosthetic and socket. So
Yeah.
that's kind of what it is. And it will bring a better quality of life. And I was looking at the fact sheet here. I mean, the things that it talks about is that it there's a lot of people that are unable to afford it, and it's the access to life-changing prosthetic and orthotic care, physical activity and exercise. There's a big push to get people more active that are amputees. Not, you don't have to be an athlete. I mean, I'm not, but I do. I like to get in the pool. I like to take walks in the parks, things like that. So
Sure.
even that, I might need a different prosthetic to do it. So
Yeah. Well, having a different foot and that kind of stuff, I
yeah,
have three altogether, and it's nice being able to have a different foot to switch out depending on where you're going to go or what you're going to do, that kind of thing, or a foot that you can jump in the pool or go in the ocean, go in the lake, wade the river,
yeah,
whatever you want to do with, and if it gets wet, who cares,
yeah.
you
I
know.
do have a foot and ankle that is waterproof, but I still use a dry pro sleeve
Okay.
whenever I want to get in the pool at the local rehab center. Um, so I'm just thankful there is a pool. There's only one pool that I can do that in our small town, but I'm sure there would be more places. I heard that there was a place in Indianapolis. I think Hanger bought out Kenny Orthopedics, and they have their own gym. Amputees can go in there and work out. I'd like
Very
that.
cool. We
Yeah,
actually had somebody else talking about Kenny Orthopedics. That's pretty funny that you mentioned that actually.
yeah,
I can't remember
well,
who it was, but there was somebody else that was on the show that was also they mentioned the same exact company. And I was like,
yeah,
well, as soon
yeah.
as you said that, it
There's
was just like bing.
yeah, there's a lot of virtual groups. Amputee Coalition has their own forums and groups and everything. You can go on that site and register and then you can post questions and other things to other amputees and ask questions and things. It's really awesome. And they do have virtual meetings on Thursdays. They're different times depending on east, west, whatever, but you can register for free virtual support groups online. And I think that's great. I also do them through Hanger. They have an educational thing, and I get on some of the groups there, and some of them are for fun and some of them are educational. So I tell you what, if it wasn't for that virtual. I've learned to use Zoom and all that. If it wasn't for that, I probably would be either lonely or bored all the time because I like to talk to people.
Absolutely. That's what, when you wanted to come on, I was just like, yeah, all right. Somebody that loves to talk, you know? 'Cause I have, it seems to be either one extreme or the other, where it's just like, so, you know, how'd you lose your limb? And then we'll spend 45 minutes talking about that, which is fine. That's, you know, that's awesome because I love people like that, you know, people that want to interact and want to talk. And then there's
Yeah.
other people's like, you know, so how'd you lose your limb? Car wreck.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay. Did you, and it throws me off when they do that, you know, it's just like, so did you have any like PTSD, any kind of stuff like that? Yes. And it's like, oh,
I think my
all right, this,
PTSD makes me over explain. So, you know, which,
I'm the same way. I'm much the
yeah,
same way. It's just kind of, you got to tell yourself, it's like, stop talking, stop, just.
yeah.
And I
I
do
was
that same shit.
when I was 18 and graduated from high school, my first job was working on a switchboard. And back then I was actually more of an introvert as a high school student. So I literally lost my voice the first week in because I was not used to talking that much all day long. I
The
can't say
vocal
that
cords
now.
ain't stretched. They ain't had time to become what they're gonna be, you know?
You know, I would like to hear from your audience. What are some things that they would like to see happen in the near future or in the future? You know, so feel free to put your questions on it. I'll go back and I will look at this tomorrow. And if anybody posts a question, I'll be glad to answer it. You know,
Absolutely.
regarding, you know, you can also go to soeverybodycanmove.org. And there's a video on there you can watch, and there's some others you can look to see if your state is doing anything or not. They have a map. You click on your state and you'll find out if there's nobody doing it, hey, become a lead advocate and be the person to get things started, you know?
For sure. And that link will also be in the description of this as well.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it'll be in there. But yeah, definitely, like she was saying, if there's any amputees or anybody just has question about it, period, like if you have a loved one that's an amputee or is about to be,
Yeah.
then definitely hit her up. And, you know, that's definitely a good avenue to go down, and a great, you know, a great way to do it and go about it for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. I guess I'm just that kind of person that I like to help people and I like to serve the community. And uh I always tell my friends, it's like, it doesn't matter about money or anything. It's your talent and your gifts. You don't want to waste them. You need to use them to serve others because that's what we're supposed to do. You know, maybe that's just because I was raised Gen X, but you know, which I am
Yeah,
the typical Gen X.
yeah, I'm a '90s kid, man. So you know,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I
My
graduated in
son,
'97, so
yeah. Yeah. My son was born in 89. So,
nice.
oh,
My yeah, we got started late. We'll just say that, you know.
yeah.
So it is what it is. Me personally, again, you know, I don't like talking about myself in somebody else's interview, but
That's okay.
I was a musician for a long time, and doing that, you stay on the road a lot, and I was doing that, and you know, you didn't really have a lot of time to settle down and that kind of stuff because you're constantly going. You know, I mean, you're literally at home maybe 3 or 4 weeks, and you're back out doing something else. You know, so
Mm.
I think it wasn't until after I lost my limb and stopped doing a lot of that kind of stuff that I definitely, yeah, it was just like I want to have kids. I want to, you know, so I don't know. We got started late, but hey, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, I mean, it is what it is. I'm 46 and my wife's pregnant, so you
Hey.
know, it is what it is.
I'm at grandma status now. So, you know, I don't yeah, I don't think I could go back and raise another child at my age. So but I can only hope that my son being an only child, and he was he kept me busy. And he wasn't ADHD. He was just very smart and very got bored easily. And
Yeah.
sometimes I didn't have the energy to keep up with him, but now he has two little girls, and I'm sure he can understand now that you don't always have the energy to put into it.
No, no. Um, do they get to come see you and hang out with you and all that stuff and like get to spend the day with you and all that?
Not at the moment because
No.
mom and dad work a lot, but
Gotcha. Gotcha.
maybe in the future the things will change where they don't have to work so hard, and slow
Yeah,
down.
absolutely.
I was a single mom, divorced mom. I just felt like I worked 3, 4 jobs all the time and went back to school and tried to do the best I could. And then, I went and got my degree, but then I put off getting a career till he started college. And that's when the cancer hit, right at the time that I was like, oh, I'm going to get hired full time at this temp job because I have a degree now. And then, yeah, I thought I'd be a public relations manager and all that, but I'm still able to use those skills. I've gotten back into my freelance writing, and I'm trying to speak and share my story, and share about Amputee Coalition and the so everybody can move. But at the same time, I'm having fun. I think this is the most fun I've had in my life because I worked hard all my
Good.
life, and now I can do what I want. I can volunteer where I
Good.
want. You know?
Good, good, good. That's what I love hearing, man. You're making the best of it. You're not just like,
Yeah.
out here, wow, poor little old me, this sucks. Look at my life. No. And what I want to see, what I want to do for you is you already have a YouTube channel. Like it already exists. Excuse me.
Mhm.
But what I want to do is help you build that up and help you, show you how to make videos and that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. Because a lot of people, they really, really overthink a lot of this stuff, and you don't need to, and I could help you out as far as like putting
That
out,
would be great
you know,
because I'm a little bit behind on technology. I mean, once I see somebody show me how to do it, I can do that. But I have thought about that. I would love to start something where I can at least have short videos and things that will be helpful. And, I will never be an athlete, but at the same time, I try to move and get at some form of exercise every day. And
yeah,
that's the thing with amputees. They get sometimes I know I am a mentor, so I tell them it's going to be hard. You're going to go through some hard times. You're going to cry. It's okay, but get back up and keep going again and try it again until it's no longer hard. Because I had to do it all by myself. Being a single divorced person, I and my family being not around here, I didn't have that constant connection to check in on me and stuff, so I pretty much had to learn to do all of it by myself. And I managed, but I don't like to see that. I don't want anybody else to feel alone. I even started an art card at the chemo lab here in town after having chemo the last time. And I stole that idea from another big hospital. But I would go around and talk to each patient and give them art supplies that were donated by different people. And hey, when you get home and you feel good, do some art, turn on some good
absolutely.
music, whatever. I said, I'm not technically an artist, but since I was a kid, I just like the experience, you
Yeah,
know?
find an outlet. There's got to be
Yeah.
some kind of outlet that's going to keep your mind busy
Find a
and keep
hobby.
yeah, exactly. It sounds rude. It's just like find a hobby, do something, man. But no, seriously, find a hobby, find something that will truly take your mind. As far as the pain and stuff like that goes, there's not really much that's going to replace that. There's
Yeah.
no amount of drawing or, I took up building Legos or whatever. It don't matter. That's still going to constantly be there. It just kind of is like,
Yeah.
it hurts. It really does, But as far as keeping your mind off of the impact of the situation and what literally just happened to you, yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Find a hobby. Find something that's going to completely,
Well, I
something
crochet.
other than just watching YouTube. It's just like, well, I started watching, and I mean, here we are on YouTube, but
Yeah.
I mean, like find something to do with these, keep these busy, and because when you keep these right here busy, your mind will follow and everything,
Here's
and
how
it
I
just
keep busy. I crochet.
see that's awesome. I started making. I don't have a single one right here, but I have these bags that I make and sell,
Yeah.
and people love them. You know, I mean, they're really strong, they're really sturdy. That kind of thing isn't a commercial form or anything,
Right.
but here, let me
Well, and
adjust my.
it's about the
There we go.
process. It helps you heal. And I guess I've been on a journey the last few years to find ways to add positivity, but there is toxic positivity. And I find joy because you can't be happy all the time, but you can find joy even in the worst of times. And yes, I do get triggers. Like when I broke my wrist, I think I cried off and on for 3 weeks until I started to get rid of the pain, because the pain was worse than anything I've ever endured. Because nowadays you go to the ER and they're like, we'll give you Tylenol. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to take the pain pills either, but can you just give me a shot of cortisone or something? But no, because of the drug issues, nowadays a lot of ERs aren't going to give you that. Even if you need it, they're not going to give it to anybody. So it's just the way it is. But, I got through it and it came out on the other side, and it wasn't pretty during the time because I tend to isolate and just heal that way sometimes, depending on the situation. But and once I come out on the other side, I can talk about it and write about it and whatever. But I think that the first thing I did when I woke up from my amputation was ask for my yarn bag. And the nurses are like, huh? I go, I need something to do with my hands. I'm not feeling any pain right now. So I need something to do with my hands until I start feeling the pain. So
Yeah, I can't
it took
just sit
3
here,
hours.
man.
Yeah. Took
It's
them
too
3 hours.
much.
I was in a room with 35 other people waiting on a room. We were in the like post-operating room or whatever at the hospital. And I was like,
Yeah,
dang, how long does it take to get a room around here?
yeah, and a ward. Yeah, the wards suck. I've sat in a ward before too, where it's like curtain, 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 curtain. You know, literally on
Yeah.
the other side of that's a person that's in like horrible shape, and you're just like, oh, okay, this is
Oh, I've
cool.
had I've had people next to my room that are like meaner than snot to the nurses, and I'm like, dude, chill out. you know, I've even had doctors and nurses that when I'm getting ready to leave the hospital go, we really appreciate you as a patient. I go, hey, you know what? You're doing your job. I know you're shorthanded. If I have a problem, I'll let you know. But I always
Yeah,
try to be considerate, even if I'm not feeling good, but you know.
I've told nurses before. It's like, look, go do your thing and come back and check on me. Like, go, like, just skip over mine and then come back like at the very end. I'm good. I'm literally
Yeah.
sitting here watching TV at this point. So, you know,
Yeah, yeah. I
if
have
I
a
need you,
cousin.
I'll hit the little thing, and that,
Yeah. Talking about writing, I have a cousin that when I became an amputee, she's working on this fiction novel, everything. And she goes, so my female character is going to date a guy who's an amputee. So how does that play out? And I go, it's a relationship, so it plays out the same, I think. I don't know.
yeah,
you know, I know I don't have a relationship, and I'm not worried about that. I enjoy being single right now. But if I meet somebody, I'm sure I'll be concerned about that and everything. But I guess I just, I didn't know what to tell her. I was like, I don't know. you know, but I've seen more and more books come out with amputees as characters, even in the fiction books. So,
yeah,
like How to Train Your Dragon.
yep, absolutely. There's a lot more of that stuff. You're starting to see, um, thanks to folks like yourself, you're starting to see a lot more mannequins, a lot more ads, a lot more, a lot more inclusion on stuff like that. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, there's always been the Nike One Shoe, the Nike One Shoe program, which this channel is
Yeah.
sponsored by Vans, so I apologize, you guys. But they have that, and there's also Vans is also getting ready to start doing that as well. But there's a lot of other companies out there that are getting ready to start following suit on the One Shoe program, and I
I
think
also
that
seen have you seen the two companies? One's called Billy, the other's Friendly, and they look like regular shoes, but they have zippers that go all the way around so you can just open it up and put it on your. Yeah, I was like, where were they?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but I can't find boots to save my life to put on my foot that are nice looking boots at the right height and able to slide my what I call 2x4 foot into. I remember going into the shoe place and taking off my leg and just turning it upside down and trying to put a boot on it. And people were coming around the corner looking at me like, and I was like, hey, I got to try a boot on somehow.
Or if it comes up over your prosthetic and you actually take the whole boot off and they're just kind of like,
yeah.
it's like, oh my God, did she just pull her whole foot off? Is her foot still in the shoe? What am I looking at? Because it still comes up like over top of the sleeve and everything. Oh my God, that would be a great prank to play on somebody. And just be like, can you help me take my boot off? That doesn't know you're an amputee.
Yeah.
And have them like sit there and pull your boot off, and then there's a stump looking right at them. It's just like, I mean, it'd be a liner, but still, hey, whatever. It would still be hilarious.
Kids all the time ask me, take your leg off. And so I'll pop it off and then they'll be like, I'll put it back on. They're like, do it again. And I'm like, once was enough.
My daughter plays with all mine. She's got several of mine just like around the house somewhere, you know, like she's got my below the knee. I think it's in her bedroom, but yeah. She does all kind of stuff with them.
Yeah, it's kids are just so amazing and so resilient. And I mean, when I first started getting questions from kids, I say, I have a robot leg. Isn't that cool? I'm just like that. Was that show where the cars turned into robots? Transformers?
Transformers.
Yeah. I'm a transformer. I remember one time I put glow in the dark stickers on my leg so I could find it in the middle of the night so I could go to the bathroom. I'm good.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. Or have something set up on it like a car alarm where you could just like hit a little key fob and it'll go, you know, it's like, there it is, found it. Your leg would just start like flash in the dark, you know?
You know, at the conference, I saw some pretty interesting decorated legs. Some of the women, I don't know how they did it, but they had lights and what looked like those fake gems on them and everything. They just blinged them out. And I've even seen someone who had a gun holster on theirs because they were a retired cop.
Yep.
Or even a pop open, you know, like the opener that opens, there was a guy that was a waiter, and he said people pay him to do that.
Nice. That's what you do. You monetize it, man. You gotta, I mean, that's turning a negative into a positive right there. Yes. I love that.
I use mine I take mine off when I'm sitting and crocheting and throw the ball of yarn down there. So it's my yarn bowl.
I mean, hey, it works too. Plus, it's nice and smooth, so it'll just sit there and kind of spin inside there. You know, like if you pull it, it'll just sit there and just kind of, you know.
Yeah, I've been in a pin lock my whole time. I've never really tried suction or anything, but
no.
I have seen when I went to the conference, there's all kinds of new types of sockets out, but I've heard good, I've heard bad. I don't know, but I'm learning that you do have a right to ask if you can just try it out before you buy it, kind of thing. I guess I didn't realize that until last year, and I was like, oh, okay. And
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was on a virtual meeting last week for Less Leg, More Heart. They have a heart-to-heart virtual thing once a month. And there was a guy on there from Canada that was talking about their new product. It's some kind of special material that breaks up the electromagnetic stuff, and they've designed it to put over, like, say you got a wound on your leg and you need it to heal quicker. Something about the electromagnetic things in the air, it breaks it up so that your skin has a chance to heal quicker or something. So they sent me a sample, and I'm going to try it, you know. They sent me a very large sample. You can cut it to anything you want. It's even good for menopause, ladies. They said, I'm going to try it. I just got it in the mail today, so I'm going to put it under my sheet and see if it'll keep me from sweating so much in the middle of the night.
Hey, I mean, if it works, it works, you know. But yeah, that's awesome that they would even, you know, want to send you that. I
was just amazed.
Yeah, you could even do like an unboxing kind of thing on your channel again, you know, like I was saying. There you go, that kind of stuff, man. You just got to get creative with it, you know, just be like stuff that you would think, you know, it's like I don't know, the slightest little thing that you and I take for granted, especially dealing with this, especially being an
Yeah.
amputee and that kind of stuff. Um, like I have crutch tutorial videos, and it shows you how
Yeah.
to walk on forearm crutches and how to pivot and how to turn, that kind of stuff. Walking backwards, somebody's coming at you, like, in a hurry or that kind of thing. Teaches you how to jump back without falling and busting your butt. So, you know, try to think of stuff like that, little
Oh yeah.
things, and,
Yeah. You know what I,
tutorials are a big deal. People love their tutorials.
yes. And I've thought about that because I have that, I have a background in media and stuff. So yeah, I just need to learn the technical side of things and how to use YouTube in that way. Because if I have my accessible writing blog, which I hope to build up a clientele for by the end of the year by doing that, I probably will put a lot of funny stuff. I went to, like, for example, I have this thing about going, and those electric scooters at retail stores are in terrible shape. I got on one that, I'm not kidding, sounded like a loud lawnmower one day in Walmart where I
Oh
live.
yeah.
And they got rid of them eventually, but it was like I videotaped that and put it on Facebook. It's like, I just want you to see what this is like for people like me, or anything to do with. I went to the Great Smoky Mountains a couple of years ago, twice with a friend, and it's just not handicap accessible down there in the Pigeon Forge and all that, and Gatlinburg and everything. It's just not that friendly for disabled people, and I'm just like, man, of all places, they should be better, but
Yeah.
there really wasn't any accessible trails except behind one of the nature centers, a very small walkway. And I was like, what if I want to walk through the woods, but I just don't want to climb the mountain?
Yeah. That's sad, man. I've heard a lot of places people say that about, Gatlinburg in particular.
Yeah.
Um, what is the other one where people love to go? It's like you can gamble there. It's in
Oh,
Missouri. Branson, Missouri.
Branson?
Branson. Yeah,
Branson.
they were saying that Branson, Missouri is also, it's not very, like, because it's older. Like everything, it's like old,
Yeah.
Gatlinburg, I mean, it's an old mining town. So
Atlanta,
it's,
Georgia is like that too, because where the hotel was, if I wanted to
yeah.
go to the aquarium, and I had rented an electric scooter because I couldn't do as much walking with a huge place. But you can't there was not enough torque to get up this thing and then not try to, run into something on the way down to go anywhere. Like if I wanted to go 2 blocks to this way to go to the aquarium, it was like up, down. I'm like, who
Yeah.
designed the streets here? And in order to get
Yes.
next door to the indoor mall, I literally had to go through the hotel to the next hotel, which they're connected with all these hallways, and then out that hotel to another hall to get into the building where they had yeah. And I was like, seriously? It was just, yeah, I would like to be able to show people how inaccessible some of these places are.
Do it because you're actually out there going to these places. So I
Yeah,
mean, if you actually had, I mean, you only would excuse me, really wouldn't even need that. What you would need is just basically your phone, and
yeah,
just kind
yeah,
of carry your phone with you and just kind of show yourself. Just be like, y'all, look at this, y'all. Do you see
yeah.
this? What and just kind of show what's going on. I mean, don't necessarily got to put anybody on blast. What
No,
it would be more or less doing is you're kind of just more or less demonstrating the crap that we deal with.
yeah.
And that's
Hotel
that's
rooms.
yeah, hotels are not meant for us. They're just not. They're not, because they're a long, long, long walk. And people are like, well, just get a wheelchair. All right, cool. Have you ever felt what hotel carpet feels like? It's
Yeah,
super, super spongy. It's super, super, like, your
hard.
feet just disappear into it. So if you try to get a wheelchair on that, good luck, man. I mean, and if you get your
Yeah,
momentum going, cool. You might be all right. But the second you have to stop, you're done. Because getting that just getting that going again.
yeah.
Yeah, hotel carpet is horrible if you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah, and you know what? I have been Big Lots just closed this week permanently, but they have had the same broken wheelchair with one of those, what I call death trap baskets that go down over the front of you when you sit in it.
Yeah.
I call it the death
Yeah.
trap wheelchair. And the feet were broken on it. I mean, the pedals, so that there was no place for anybody to actually rest their feet on it. I mean, it was there for 20 years that this store was there. And I
Yeah.
never saw it move from that spot. And I think, and I even called one time, you either get somebody who cares or you don't, when it comes to corporate. I did call Meyer about their electric scooters recently before the holidays, because I was like, these are in terrible shape. I love it when a manager goes, well, if the fat people wouldn't get on it. I go, wait a minute. It has nothing to do with fat people. It's just that it gets a lot of use. And here's the deal. You guys only buy one size. I went to SeaWorld in Orlando and they had them in different sizes for different shapes and sizes. What's your deal? Or I get, it's expensive to remodel an old building and make it accessible. And I go, well, my leg costs close to $80,000. Do you really think that a ramp's going to be that much? Right. I think it's a lot, or I get that, well, we don't see a lot of handicapped people around here. And I go, that's because you don't make it to where they can shop. I do it nicely, but I'm like, here's my point.
Yeah. I've told that to the gentleman at Kroger here. I was just like, there's a reason that you see me at night a lot. And it's just easier for us. You see people with disabilities shopping at night. And I mean, like right before the store closes, you'll see amputees, you'll see people, that have kids with special needs, that kind of thing. It's just much, much easier to get out and, everybody else is already at home. They're doing their thing. They're taking showers. They're getting ready for the next day. They're, getting ready to go to bed. They're, all that stuff. Well, now it's our chance. We can get out there and kind of, I can walk down the aisle, no problem, without anybody being like.
Well, and I try to get to Walmart and some of those stores. I try to make myself get up earlier and try to be there by 9 o'clock in the morning. So I have a fully charged electric scooter, if I can, because anytime after 10 o'clock, one, you're not going to find a handicapped spot to park in. And two, those electric scooters sometimes by noon have been abused. So, it's just, or even 3 or 4, I just learned not to shop so late in the day, in the middle of the afternoon. Cause by then, that's why I wrote Meyer, because every single one of them, I walked in at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they're all in the red. Like and they said, well, the batteries need replaced. And I'm going, why hasn't that happened? So that happens a lot of places, I guess with my media background and working in newspapers back in the day, I'm like, I guess I learned to stand up for myself, over time. But I'm also standing up for everybody else too. That's important.
It's that advocacy part of you still, that's why you are who you are today,
That's why my son is very argumentative when he was a kid. I can't say it's all his dad's fault. It's partly mine too. It's genetic.
I'll take the blame. I'll accept it.
I'll take the blame. I mean, he is a go-getter and his mom is too.
That's awesome.
And you're having, is this your second one? Is this your
This is our second. Yes, ma'am. Awesome. It absolutely. This is our second. My daughter right now is she's 7. So, there's a little bit of an age gap between them, but she's, we were talking about that the other night with another friend of ours, and they were saying it was like, well, that's good though, because she's at that age where she can actually help out. And not like, oh, I'm helping, but like actual literally help out. Like she can carry stuff. I need you to go get this specific item. And she knows what, she goes, with us, it was like asking a 3-year-old, I need you to go in there, look at the medicine cabinet, grab me of this. Is like, that's impossible. With yours, you can actually do that. So
yes.
Well, like, so that'll actually work out.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on tonight. I really enjoyed it. Call me if you want me back on here for any reason. I love to chat like this. So thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. I greatly appreciate you coming on. Real quick, one question before we go, and it's something I always like to ask my new folks, is going back to the night before your surgery. I mean, before, well, because you had to go into emergency surgery, correct? And was that right?
Well, I did have to wait the weekend out. before I
Okay,
went.
all right. So you did actually have like the prep, like I got the day before, and it's okay. All right, cool. So this will apply then. Um, all right, you are actually standing outside yourself, and you get the chance to tell yourself something. You get to lean down and tell yourself, "Look, man, before you go into this, I need you to understand when you come out on the other side,
Mhm.
this, fill in the blank. What is something that you're going to tell yourself? Not something you'd tell everybody else, something you, Kim, would tell Kim, like, I need you to understand this is going to be
Okay.
different."
I think I would tell myself, if I was talking to myself who was laying on the couch at the time, uh, I know this is hard, but you've been through harder stuff than this. You've been through hell and back several times in your life, and you're a fighter, and I'm gonna watch your back, and I'm gonna be here for you mentally. I'm gonna be that voice in the back of your head that's gonna cheer you on, and even on the roughest days, you go ahead and cry, but you get back up. When you
Yeah.
rest, but get back up. That's what I would tell myself.
Hell yeah. I love that. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. That's the reason I asked that question to my new folks, is because I want to see what they say, and it gives people hope that are going through it
Yeah.
right now. Because a lot of the people that watch this are people that are, they're sitting in the hospital. They're going to be watching this like it happened yesterday. It happened this afternoon, that kind of thing. So I want people seeing it, that are newbies, the people that just, are day ones, that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
and see us sitting here rapping and having a good time, and be like, well, okay, maybe this ain't so bad,
I was
and
talking about that the day that I was supposed to go. I had spent the night on a friend's couch because I didn't want to be alone. And her little boy, who's now 19, but he was 4 at the time, and he came in and slept beside me on the floor. And he gave me his little Snoopy to take to the hospital. So the nurses made sure when I woke up that Snoopy had bandages on him and all that. So when he came to visit to get Snoopy back, Snoopy, we all, pretended that Snoopy also had surgery. And before that, I don't even know where I got the idea, but I just let him draw with a permanent markers all over my leg that I was getting ready to lose. And I started writing, put your best foot forward, blah, blah, blah. That is all in the report from the surgery. And he looked up at me and goes, I'm giving you tattoos, aren't I? And he was laughing. And then, of course, he's been with me the whole way. He thought I was like SpongeBob's friend, the peg leg guy. We dressed as pirates the next Halloween. I even got a call from a Halloween place asking if, as an amputee, do I want to make $15 an hour so I can put blood on my stuff? I didn't do it because I
huh,
don't like to be in the dark, but yeah. So you gotta find the joy in it. You gotta find the happiness in it. You gotta find the laughter in it. So don't ever give up.
yeah, it's tough. It's very, very tough. I mean, it's a lot easier said than done, but it is very, very doable.
Yeah.
And folks like, yourself absolutely prove that, you know.
Thank you.
So, yeah, absolutely. I can't thank you enough for coming on, hanging out with us, and just being a part of the show, being a part of the community, and just doing what you do for us one leggers. Again, I know you are one yourself, and, so I don't know. I greatly appreciate what you're doing. I
Thank
generally
you.
do. And,
Thank
and I
you.
want you to understand that and know that.
And you all
Um,
can do it too if you want. Just look it up, or leave. I'll leave a link or whatever to whatever. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, all of Miss Kim's stuff will be, all of her links and everything will be in the description of this episode. They're not there right now, but they will be whenever they'll be there this probably tonight. Actually, I'll just do that when we're done here. Um, so when we're done, just do me a favor and send me all the links of everything that you would like for me to do that, or to
okay.
link in this description.
Mhm.
And I'll do like a brief little description of that, as well as all the links and everything, and that way everybody can reach out to the
Yeah.
appropriate channels, that kind of stuff.
Well, let's keep
So,
in touch, and you can help me get my YouTube channel started.
We're going to. We're going to.
All right.
First, what we'll do is we'll make you an intro and an outro, and I'll send those over to you, and we'll,
Okay.
make something cool like that. So,
Yeah. Well,
all
tell
right,
your wife if she needs any crocheted baby items to let me know. I'll send them her way.
all right. Hey, I'll be hitting you up about that for sure. That's awesome. Absolutely. So, all right,
Thank
Miss
you,
Kim, I
everybody.
greatly appreciate you coming on and hanging out with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All
Have a
right,
good
you have a
evening.
great night. All right, you as well. All right, everybody. I greatly appreciate everybody hanging out with us tonight. We kind of ran a little bit over, but hey, I don't care. That's all right. Again, Mr. Backwoods, thank you for coming. Janie AR15, thank you for coming. Miss Christy, my dear. Possum Smiles, always good seeing you. Jeff Bice. Let's see, scrolling down. Blue Eyes, good seeing you. Let's see. Miss Tammy, always good seeing you, my dear. Chanel with the good hair, good seeing you. Backwoods, my brother. See, there you are again. All right. I believe that's got everybody. Maybe not. Hold on. Trolling for Jesus. What's up, my brother? Good seeing you. Cowboy, aka the one. What's happening? I believe I saw, yeah, Ghost of Shadows. What's happening? All right. All right, everybody. I greatly appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with us. I want to thank Vans. I want to thank Firmoo, Taggart and Torrance podcast for everything they do for the channel, Bulow Prosthetics. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be able to be sitting here right now talking to you through, the equipment and all that good stuff that I do have, and just, all that good stuff. So, next week, we're going to be here at the same time, same, all that good stuff, same bat time, same bat channel. And yeah, so with that, everybody stay happy, safe, sane, motivated. Don't look back. Don't give a crap what anybody else says about you, because at the end of the day, it don't matter. See you next time.